guys, it's Matt Catling here, and welcome to our mini accelerator for the week. I'm really excited about 2024, and I hope you used my tool for in our last mini accelerator. I think it was the one before that actually, which is to blast off into 2024. Now that little PDF will help you look at and review 2023. Look at how you made decisions, especially big decisions. Looking at the challenges that maybe really triggered you and get the lessons and learnings from that, and then projecting that into 2024 and using that as almost like an anchor to be able to rise to the next level and really blast off into 2024. So if you need a copy of that, please email support at your future events. .com.au, and we can send you that little ebook. It's really powerful. So I wanted to start off today's mini accelerator with some important dates. Our brand new NLP Accelerator Live. It's a weekly intensive. It's kicking off 6th of Feb, and we'll run that weekly until the 14th of March. And so there's kind of going to be two days throughout those weeks. It'll be the Tuesday from 2 p.m. till 5 p.m. And then we have our accountability accelerator, where we'll be using that accountability accelerator to handle any of your questions, especially any interventions that we do. With that NLP accelerator, our platinum clients, you get this for free. We do have a special at the moment, a 50% off special. If you're interested in that, please reach out. It's to support at yourfutureevents.com.au. Troublemakers, we've got our Troublemakers business breakout. Our first event happening 2nd of Feb, and this is at our restaurant, or my wife's restaurant, I should say, at the Austrian Club. This is our high-level VIP mastermind group. You need to be doing minimum of 10K per month to be able to join that. If you're interested in that, again, reach out to support at yourfutureevents.com.au. We can do a bit of a brainstorm, see if you're a good fit. We have my Ultimate Life Recharge retreat happening. I've got one spot available. Someone jumped out. And so that's the 18th of March to the 22nd. We run that in Byron Bay. And again, support at yourfutureevents.com.au if you want any information about that. Now, if you are one of my mentoring clients, whether you're doing, a Troublemakers mentoring program, or a 6-month mentoring with Matt, or 90-day mentoring with Matt, please book in all your sessions ASAP. We're getting to the point where there's a little bit of a waiting list at the moment, and I really want you to get in, lock in your spot, and just ensure that you're able to, get your specific time at the moment. We launched our 6-month calendar of events, and so you can see we've got a lot of live events happening. We've just had our brand new challenge. We do have the recordings of that. That was really awesome. Like I mentioned, we have our NLP Accelerator coming out, Ultimate Life Recharge. We also have Coach Now. Now, this will be an in-person, 13th to the 17th of May. We've got an in-person Excellence Now coming up, and that is basically the NLP Accelerator, but in person. And then we also have our Breakthrough Bootcamp. Breakthrough Bootcamp, you need to do Excellence Now or the NLP Accelerator first. And Breakthrough Bootcamp is really cool. We choose an area of life, health, wealth, or relationships, and we spend 2 days releasing everything that's holding you back in that specific area. We look at negative emotions. We look at limiting beliefs. We look at any parts conflicts, like part of me wants this, part of me wants this. I share with you a brand new technique. It's called the Freedom Release Technique, more of an associated technique, a really powerful 2 days. But again, you have to have done NLP Accelerator, and you need to, or Excellence Now, our NLP practitioner training. So let's get into today's session. And what I want you to think about, and if you're watching this recording or if you're doing this live right now, I want you to just start to think, what would be a 10 out of 10 year? If we could look back, if we could do a review, 12 months in the future, we could do a review and we could look back, what would be a 10 out of 10 year for you? And I want you to look at every area of life. And I also want you to look at, putting your life in there as well, not just, contribution and making an impact. Sometimes we can do that and leave ourselves out. I want you to kind of, if you normally do that, if you're normally thinking about everyone else, I want you to start off by thinking about you and really look at, indulging. It might be that you've traveled, you've had an international trip. It might be that you've hit a certain, savings level. It might be that you've enrolled in some type of course and it's really had you rise to a new level. It might be that you know, you working with me, you've invested in like troublemakers or a mentoring program, and look at your relationships. You know, what's changed around your relationships? Have you attracted new people? Because when you start attracting new people, it often means that you've changed. Like leaders attract leaders. Is that you've healed previous relationships, you've healed the chains of the past. Now, what I find is that when you heal those relationships, those past relationships, you have a more of a capacity to love. You get more kind of unconditional love and acceptance. And you're not as triggered, isn't it interesting? You're able to hold your position in conflict. You're able to speak your truth, ask for what you want. Is it the health area of life? Have you kind of worked out a structure or a regime that really works for you? A combination of movement, nutrition that really ignites that fire inside of you and moves you into overflow. Have you worked out a structure in your life where it is amazing? Like every week you're doing like, 10 out of 10 weeks, 10 out of 10 months. I want you to really look at that. How would you know? How would you know you've achieved this 10 out of 10 experience? Is it certain moments that you've had with friends, with family members? And I want you to really do this. So if you're listening to this recording, like most people don't do this stuff, they kind of just, go to the next question. But I really want you to pause it. I want you to pause it. I want you to really do this right now. If you're noticing resistance, by the way, you need to do this because we need to push the boundary conditions. If you've got a pattern of, oh, I can't be bothered coming up, that's what's holding you back. It's really, really important that we kind of push through that resistance because thinking is the hardest thing that you can do, especially thinking outside of your normal patterns. Okay, so I want you to pause this right now and I want you to do this activity. Your time starts now. Go for it. All right, welcome back. I hope you did it. If you didn't, pause this, do it right now. So, the next part of this, most people focus on what they want to get. What we need to really look at is who you're being. There's a really wonderful model. It's based on it's a Buddhist model, and you probably heard it before: be, do, have. Now, the have is the result. I want this 10 out of 10 week, 10 out of 10 year, and it looks like this. I've got this happening around my wealth, this happening around my relationships, and this happening around my health, and I'm making this type of impact. This is my lifestyle. So that's kind of the result. Now, most people, what they do is they go into the doing. Now, you probably heard this before that most of the stuff that you do doesn't really get you a result. Often, a lot of it is based on wounds and it'll keep you on that kind of merry-go-round. Okay. Sometimes we're addicted to doing as well. And a lot of the stuff in terms of what you want to have is probably outside of your comfort zone and probably will come from, you know, different communities, people, all of those things. So this is where we start to look at who are you and who are you becoming? Like look at what is, you being or your emotional state, your belief systems, your values, your decisions, all of these things will actually have you do things or not do things, will have you sabotage, will have you go into conflict, will have you burn the house down. Okay. Whereas, what if we looked at who you need to be? Now, this is a really, really big one because this is where we get into the concept of manifestation. A lot of people, like, they focus on the doing, but they haven't got the polarity of when they're doing. Now, what do I mean by that? That means that they're doing from maybe a place of frustration, or they're doing from a place of fear, or they're doing from a place of resentment, or sadness, or guilt, or hurt, or fear. Now, that emotional state, we often don't really look at that, is actually the most important thing. If we look at like manifestation, right? A lot of people say, oh, the universe gave me this, or I manifested this. I disagree with that. I'd kind of take a quantum physics kind of role, which is quantum possibilities. There are quantum possibilities. Like think of the internet, right? There is so much information, but we probably search maybe 10 or 20 internet sites over a monthly period. Now, but there is so much more information. Now, what if we started to change the internet sites? What if we started to change our thinking? Because just think of like Google and the questions that you type in. The quality of the questions determine the quality of the resources that we tap into, the environments that we'll show up in. Often we need to kind of shift that thinking or who we are being. And so you might be doing a whole lot of stuff, but it's coming from an energetic place of a wound. And so therefore you're probably making life decisions from that wound. And so energetically, that's what you're putting out there, and you'll keep attracting it over and over and over again. Even you might be, really organized, you're doing a lot, but you're bashing your head against the wall and it doesn't feel like anything is moving. This is where we've got to look at who you're being and what you're bringing in terms of all of the energetic side of things. And so if you look at it, like the universe has already provided, what we've just got to do is show up with a different energy, show up with a different leadership. I call it, authentic leaders, because when you show up with your authenticity, okay, or, the rise of the authentic leader, we kind of move to simplicity and flow. It's almost like that sailboat, right? And you probably had this experience before or seen this before, where you see this sailboat, it hasn't caught the wind. It's a really bumpy ride. They're wanting to get to the destination. They're working really, really hard. The crew's working really, really hard. Okay. And they're not getting any closer. Versus when you catch that beautiful wind, everything starts to flow. You start to move quicker without a lot of energy, and you get to your destination probably 10 times faster. This is what we're talking about. When you're just focusing on the doing, okay, and behind that is a bit of a wound, that's kind of like, you're flapping in the wind or stuck on that merry-go-round, hoping that one day you're going to get off. Versus when you start to really put a bigger focus on this, the do and the have automatically start to happen. It just starts to flow. And this is where those coincidences start to happen. New people show up, new opportunities almost without force. And where things where you're bashing your head against the wall, all of a sudden you start to get movement. And so you can look at this at a micro level. My coach got me onto this. And this is kind of what opened up, the discovery of the brain tumor, all of that type of stuff, was that she stopped me and she said, you think you're really, really productive. And, on paper, yeah, I was, really disciplined, really focused, able to hit that to-do list very, very quickly, yet bumping my head against the wall, especially around health. And she said, I want you to step back. And she said, when you're taking action, notice the energy that it's coming from. And wow, I found it was frustration. Now, frustration was, I was wanting to be in a certain position. And we really went back, and I discovered that there was this frustration because I really felt that I didn't fit in. And I was always trying to push myself to be able to connect with people, to fit in, all of those things. And she was like, well, what if you're not meant to fit in? What if you're different? And I'd kind of worked on this topic, but not at that level. And then as I started to go inside of it and I started to really kind of drop into that frustration, this is just on a micro task, by the way, everything started to shift. The frustration started to drop away. And then I started to take action with a different polarity. All of a sudden, I started getting answers to the things that I'd been bashing my head against the wall. New opportunities started to show up. Sales just started to pop up. And I'm in this wonderful position where I really don't have to chase that much for business. I've got incredible clients, and they love working with me, and they keep working with me. And whenever I need anything, it's like I just put it out there with a different polarity. And then sure enough, a few days later, all the opportunities start to show up. And so my challenge for you in 2024, to make this your best year yet, let's focus on who you need to be. And so have a look at that. If we look at this 10 out of 10 year, who do you need to be? And again, I want you to write that down. In terms of taking action, what is the polarity, the internal polarity you want to take action from? What is the energy that you want to overflow with? What is the energy you want to attract? And so let's look at your being, the energy side of things. And again, I want you to pause this. I want you to write it down. Just jot it down. As you're jotting this down, just imagine this you operating from that energy. What is the difference around your communication, your behavior, your psychology? Okay, so pause this right now and do it. Go for it. All right. So hope you did this. Again, make sure you've done this. It's really, really powerful. What we really want to look at is, who is it? What is driving you? What is the polarity underneath the surface that's really driving that behavior? We've got some wonderful tools, which is our Belief Buster, our Problems to Power questions, email support at yourfutureevents.com.au if you want a copy of that stuff. Nothing beats having mentoring or doing a program like our personal breakthrough program, or if you're already hitting some really amazing results, our Troublemakers Business Breakout program. We are, taking enrollments for that at the moment. So if you're interested in that, book a brainstorm and beers or wine, and we can have a chat. We can look at kind of creating your great escape. But the most important thing for 2024, I believe, we need to accelerate. We accelerate by getting the polarity right. We need to accelerate our thinking, accelerate our decisions, and accelerate our execution. We don't have time for wounds. We don't have time for procrastination. We don't have time for limiting patterns or to be avoiding conflicts, all of that stuff. We need to start using and embracing this stuff to push through and to shift our polarity and move out to the next level. So that is our mini accelerator for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope to see you in one of our live events, or I'll catch you in a minute with Matt or one of our challenges. I'm really excited about 2024. As always, if you need any help, please reach out. Bye for now.